edition of High School Lowdown for Ernest Boker and Jeff Bird. I'm Steve Wilson. Well, PCA will be at Tri-County, and do you think that Tri-County's got as tough a team as they had last year?
Yeah, everything I've heard, they're coming out, lighting up the scoreboard, playing really good defense, basically everything you need to do to win games. And PCA struggling a little bit last week. You saw them last week, how they look.
Well, the problem was on the offensive line, they couldn't protect Jonah Masterson. They couldn't open any holes for Wayne Gaston. They couldn't even get the snap back to the quarterback. And as you well know, that's a problem.
Yeah, hopefully it's just one bad night for the Eagles, but if it's a trend, they're going to be in big trouble this week. Tri-County can really bring it and can blow them out pretty quickly if PCA does not play well.
Now, the good news is it's not a district game, so it doesn't affect their playoff hopes. And if you're Wade Patrick, it's almost to the point where if things get too out of hand, you might as well pull your starters and put in the junior high kids.
Well, that's the one problem for PCA, though, is they don't have that depth. That you've had some injuries and not very deep to begin with, only 20 players or so. So you really can't sub out. You can't take it easy because you just don't have the bodies to throw in there like you would like to.
Well, Vicksburg will be hosting Northwest Rankin, and it was pretty much the apocalypse for Vicksburg against an overmatched Jim Hill team.
Who was overmatched? I don't think it was Jim Hill because they came out and just ran roughshod over Vicksburg. I talked to Alonzo Stevens yesterday. He said it was one of the worst games he's been associated with in 40 years of football, which is pretty hard to do. But, he said when they came off the bus and looked at the grass and said, why are we playing these guys? And Jim Hill showed them why they're playing these guys because they just ran 4 basic plays and Vicksburg just said, all right, whatever y'all want to do. And this week they got Northwest Rankin, who is unbeaten in the district. They're unbeaten on the season at 5-0. They're averaging 240 yards a game rushing. They have a very strong tailback in Ramon Nash, who's got 770 yards and 10 touchdowns. And bad thing is they scored 70 points against Vicksburg last year in one of the worst games we did all last year. Vicksburg did score 40 in that game, but they're going to be hard-pressed against a very good defense.
Yowzers. All right, St. Al will be taking on Cathedral, and that'll be down in Natchez, and you'll be making the trip.
Yeah, should be a good atmosphere at least. Always a big rivalry game. A lot of little jokes in between. I'm sure St. Al's said that they don't like much with green in it. So I'm sure Cathedral says they don't like purple and gold very much. So good Catholic school rivalry, probably the best one of the 3 or 4 that we got going in the state.
Well, the Flashes are definitely struggling at this point in time. 2 straight weeks they've been blown out and undone by their own blunders. Against a good Cathedral team, that's definitely something they can't afford.
Right, Cathedral, like you said, with Tri-County and PCA is a team that can really blow you out in a hurry. They like to pass. They can throw deep. Got a lot of talented receivers, a good quarterback with Caleb Upton. You don't cover them, they're going to put up a lot of points. You don't stop the run, they're going to put up a lot of points. You don't slow them down, you can't score points, you're not going to keep up with them. What St. Al really has to do is control the clock, run the ball well, slow them down a little bit on offense, and try and keep it close.
Well, Greenville Weston will be paying a visit to Viking Stadium to take on Warren Central. And talking yesterday to Coach Josh Morgan, he said Greenville's going to do 2 things. They're going to run the ball right at you. They're going to play a lot of cover 0, which means they're going to bring a lot of pressure. How do you think Chase Lads and Corey Davis are going to deal with that pressure?
I think Corey Davis is going to be fine because Corey Davis is becoming an elite wide receiver. It's just a matter of can Chase make the right reads. He's had the Callaway game, they had a pick 6 in that game, and they had another pick 6 last week. And that's the thing they have to avoid is those cheap touchdowns. If WC can keep it close and use their kicking game, which they have such a big advantage with Devin Bell and Stigall kicking, they can pull the game out. Greenville has played a very good schedule. They played Pine Forest, which is one of the best teams.
They played Bastrop out of Louisiana, another
who's
good
been
team.
a power in Louisiana. They won like 3 or 4 state championships over there. And that's where Randall Lackey came out of.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be a good game. Hopefully Warren Central can make progress. They've gotten better. The scores have indicated, but they have made slight improvements every week.
Well, talking to Josh Morgan yesterday, he said a win would totally validate everything they've done and also put them in good position to possibly make a run for a playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for tuning in to another edition of High School Lowdown. For Ernest Boger and Jeff Burke, I'm Steve Wilson, and be sure to check out our sports sections and the website at VicksburgPost.com.